once it pops up on your screen, and note that your audio has been muted. But please bear in mind that you can always ask your questions or make comments in the chat at any point. And if we don't get to them during the call, we'll be sure to answer all your questions at the end of the program. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our chair of the Trojan Women's Network, Karen Carr Crawford, to begin our program today. Karen?
Thank you. Thank you, Tanya. Wonderful. Thank you for introducing me. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. And again, my name is Karen Carr Crawford. I am the chair of the Trojan Women's Network, and I am a 1983 graduate of the Sol Price School of Public Policy. And I also have a son that finished at USC. So we're building our legacy here as well. So he was in Annenberg School. So let me open up by saying, just to make a great introduction to our speaker here, that as women, we yearn to live a life of joy, peace, prosperity, and fulfillment. And whether you are considering retirement, beginning a new chapter in life, or prepping for another career, pivotal personal practices will help open up to what's next on your journey. And as Trojan women, we celebrate the shared and sometimes challenging experience. We all know what this is about, right? So leading our program today is alumna T.K. Mitchell, and she is a graduate of the USC Rossier School of Education, the class of 1976. And T.K. was a public school educator for a whole 32 years. It's a great career before making a remarkable shift to start her own wellness business. And that business is Lifestyle 120. Now, T.K. is a motivational speaker. She's an author, holistic wellness coach. She has rededicated her life to helping women find their purpose in retirement. And TK provides talks, workshops, and online programs to show women how to release limited mindsets and reclaim their health, confidence, purpose, and power so they can flourish in their golden years. Well, that is so cool. That is great stuff. So TK's online empowerment program, Sprout Your New Life, looks at life holistically and provides tools to refresh every aspect of a woman's life while nurturing a deeper connection to spirit and the bigger and broader world. So we're going to hear from TK, and following our presentation, we're going to open it up to questions and dialogue. And so without further ado, please welcome our speaker today, TK Mitchell.
Hello there, everyone. And you know what I'm going to do is, and Tanya showed me how to do this, so we're going to share the screen as soon as there we go. All right, let's see. 1 second. I can share. All righty. Okay. Oh, hello, everyone, and it is a pleasure to be with you this evening. Thank you, Tanya, for inviting me, and so happy to be here with you to impart a few of my life lessons that I hope will inspire everyone to live a more fulfilling life. And spring is such a great time of year to be discussing personal change and transformation, right? So that's wonderful. Absolutely. All right. Let me make sure that my screen is moving forward here. Just takes a little bit. I want to move it forward.
TK, it might be at the bottom left corner. Just move your
bottom left. Okay.
Do you see it there?
There we go. You've got so many great tips. You're just fantastic. Thank you. All righty, real good. So just a little bit more about me. I currently live in Burbridge, Illinois. Anybody here from Illinois? No? Okay. I live in Burbridge, Illinois, but I grew up in Southern California, Los Angeles and Riverside. And I really should call myself an Illinoisan by now, since I relocated 30 years ago. But but I'll always feel like I'm a California girl at heart, hiking through the picturesque mountain terrain and hanging out at the beaches. But I love the change in seasons here. I know it sounds kind of odd. Believe it or not, I do like the cold weather, crisp cold winters, but I want sunshine, of course. So let me share a few nuggets about my educational background and fascinating career path. I'm a teacher to the core, but I wasn't, I don't know, it seemed like it wasn't until about 5 years ago that I really embraced my gift. I just sort of took it for granted, but it wasn't until 5 years ago that I embraced my gift. And looking back over my interesting career, I realized that I had been teaching since I was 7 years old, playing school with neighborhood kids on the front lawn. So I really appreciate my Trojan experience. It provided me with many opportunities to be of service during my 32-year career as an educator. I taught special education, reading, and language arts, and I spent 5 of those years in administration as vice principal for K-8 school, a principal for special education sites, and was a consultant for many years. Okay, and now for what I'm doing currently. After retiring from the public school system, I found myself shifting and exploring a variety of opportunities related to what I had always known and was comfortable with, teaching in a structured environment. And at one point, a close colleague and I were going to start our own reading clinic. And I was also considering even returning to the university to get my doctorate in curriculum and instruction. These ideas quickly fizzled. I was being guided to use my skills to invent a new thing. So for a long time, I wanted to start my business, but I had no idea what that would look like. I knew I was passionate about health, wellness, and even cooking, having great memories helping my mom in the kitchen when I was very young. But how to blend these passions with teaching? That was the big question. So long story short, it took me a while to combine my passions into a new genre of health literacy. So right now, I'm immersed in my second act and loving it. I founded Lifestyle 120, a holistic health and wellness coaching business, in 2015. And in January of this last year, just right before the pandemic, I launched my spiritually focused empowerment program for boomer women called Sprout Your New Life. The curriculum helps women overcome limiting beliefs and reclaim their health and their confidence and their purpose and their power so they can flourish in their golden years. Now, the title of this presentation is 8 Lifestyle Strategies that Encourage Empowering Transformations. So I'd like for everyone to grab a pen and paper and keep track of your thoughts as we discuss our topic. Now, I realize that the term reinvention has been on people's minds lately due to the pandemic. And many people have been thinking about how they want to reinvent themselves and make changes for a better future. But I'd like to ask you, what does reinvention mean to you? What is your definition of transformation? And how do you measure your success? You can jot down your ideas on the piece of paper. We'll have time for questions a little bit later, and your responses. But I just want you to think about that. How do you measure success? And my main objective this evening is to inspire you to prepare for personal transformations during seasons of uncertainty, like what we're going through now, so you can live your best life. And most of us don't think about reinvention often, but I'd like to encourage you to pay attention to the subtle changes that are occurring inside you and give yourself permission to be new every day. See, I believe that because we are part of nature, like nature, we are forever transforming and becoming something new and magnificent. For example, you may already know, or you may already be aware that our cells are created and destroyed in our bodies. Now, I was surprised to learn that approximately 96 million cells are replaced every minute. That's mind-boggling. Think about that for a moment. So when we wake up every moment, or when we wake up from a nap, or when we wake up from our sleep, or when we get up every morning, we are really not the same person that we were the previous hour or the previous day. And to keep up with what our bodies are doing naturally, I wonder if we can use our creative thought processes to be open mentally to our own flowering or renewing of the mind. So as we begin thinking about our today's topic, I hope we can get as many people involved, maybe in the chat box as possible. I want to get you involved in the conversation. So let's start with this question. So COVID-19 has forever altered our lives, and some of you have experienced mental shifts. What have you learned about yourself over the last year that you weren't aware of? For me, I've learned that I'm more resilient than I thought I was. And I realized too, because I'm very independent as far as work is concerned, that I need community to grow. And I didn't realize that. I mean, reaching out to friends by phone or on Zoom is really important because I'm not able to see as many people as I once did. So what have you learned about yourself over the last year that you didn't know? Any answers popping up in the chat box there, Tanya?
As a couple, Sarah Harris says, I've learned that I can only support others for so long without supporting myself. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote, I value my alone time.
Mm-hmm.
We also have someone who says, I learned I was tired, exhausted, and needed to rest. This year gave me time to rest.
Yes. Yes. Those are all positive statements for sure. Yeah. Very good. You know, the pandemic has forced many of us to pivot, but I'd like to challenge you to consider your pivot as something that you've chosen because you want to reinvent something new rather than something you were forced to do or something was forced on you. You know, this pandemic sort of forced on us. But if you can take that mindset that this is what you want to do because this is what you have in mind, because this is what you plan for the rest of your life rather than something that, you know, sort of hit you upside the head, so to speak. Yeah, that would be great. So reflect on that as we move forward here. I don't know if you're familiar with this particular person. Dr. Siri Satnam, he was the 2020 New Thought Walden Award honoree. And he said, create what you want by thinking about what you want. The universe is simply a computer. It prints out what we put in. And his quote is so relevant to our discussion of becoming and segues nicely to our pivot points.
TK, I'll read you some others that people have written.
Please, thank you. Yes.
A sense of independence, and I enjoy my own company.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that I have endless patience. I did the opposite. I learned that I needed to honor myself. I can adjust to meet work demands in new ways. And also, as humans, we are very adaptable.
Yes, we are. Mm-hmm. Those are excellent comments. Absolutely. Yes, we are very adaptable. And that's something to keep in mind daily, actually, that I think we can overcome just about anything, can't we? Yes, absolutely. So my question to you right now is, are you ready to embrace a new life? I hope you're nodding affirmatively and visualizing what your new life will look like. Now, the following 8 ideas represent personal lifestyle shifts that have helped me to transition from teaching in the public school setting to expanding my skill set on a global level to help boomer women find purpose in retirement. Now, I believe it's what we do daily that helps us manifest the things that we want in our lives. So as we review each intentional shift, feel free to jot down your reflections on your note sheet, comment in the chat box so we can have an active discussion. I do have some questions for you after each particular intentional shift. All right. The first one is, it might seem like a cliche, but you know, I think that people know this, but they don't always honor it. So I like to suggest to you, what I'm really suggesting here is that we find moments of stillness throughout the day to rest and listen to our inner voice. One way to begin is to practice your conscious breathing. And raise your hand, how many do this daily, your conscious breathing? I know you know that you're supposed to do it, but how many of you actually do it? Yeah, the conscious breathing. So right now, if we can all just close our eyes and take 3 deep breaths through our core. This helps me throughout the day to center myself. And I believe that conscious breathing helps to relax your entire body. And actually, it helps to boost creativity. And there are so many options for planning sacred time. I love communing with nature. Nature is my lifeline. It offers inspiration, peace, and tranquility, and provides me an opportunity to relate to spirit on multiple levels. So I'm out there, whether it's winter, spring, summer, fall, getting my natural medicine, so to speak. So spending me time helps you to connect to your true self, and this can be accomplished through meditation. A daily meditation is like taking a mini vacation to a special place that only you know exists. And quiet time will look differently for each person. What does quiet time look like for you? What does sacred time look like for you? Is it part of your yoga asanas? Or is it achieved through fly fishing? See, it looks different for each person. These types of self-care rituals are essential to helping us be open and receptive. So where's your perfect refuge? You know, when I was sole caregiver for my sweet mama whose health was failing, sometimes my bathroom doubled as my sanctuary. I adorned it with fragrant herbs and a meditation lamp and retreated there for my spiritual work. At the time, lingering in my bathroom for a few extra minutes, it sort of helped me to recenter my emotions, because that was my only place. No other place in the house was mine except the bathroom. So, like I said, it would look different to each person. It's in our quiet times that we receive the inspiration we've been seeking. And I believe that it's in this place of stillness that we allow the truth to speak to us. It takes practice, but we can learn to trust our intuition. So I'd like to encourage you to think abundantly, beyond limitations, welcome each day with positive expectation, and be particularly observant of what comes up for you in your restful moments. So I'd like for you to think about the questions here related to the me time. Jot it on your note paper, in your chat box. Let's see what kind of responses we get. So describe ways you plan to connect with your inner knower each day. When would be a good time to schedule me time, and explain? I know people think all the time that, I'll schedule my me time when I get time. But, we really need to be scheduling that regularly. I think it becomes part of our whole health regime.
And TK, we have a few responses.
Oh, hey, yay, I'm glad to hear that.
Diane says, I have started meditating during the pandemic. I especially like the monthly meditation through the Asian Art Museum in San Francisco. We have Carrie who says she does a 3-mile walk in nature. I really value my thinking time. Sarah
Awesome.
Harris says, I have also taken a deep dive into mindfulness and reading. Eden says, I meditate daily. USC also has a great mindfulness program. Yes, it's Mindful USC.
Yes.
Hiking daily. Someone else says, yes, Mindful USC is a wonderful program, and they also have an app. And then someone else suggested my yoga, dog walks, Pilates and yoga, and another recommendation for the Mindful USC app.
Yes. Those, we've got a lot of nature folks on the call today. That's great. Yes, a lot of other people think that that's a great way to center yourself and refresh your mind. That's great. So just remember, this is a suggested lifestyle shift, not something we do when we're stressed, but a practice that's incorporated into our daily lives. Real good. Okay, number 2. Establish a practice of gratitude. I know that kind of sounds like cliche. I know people are always talking about that, but do we do it often? That's just it. We were talking about lifestyle shifts. So by this, I mean expressing appreciation for your triumphs and your challenges. That might be a little different twist there. The gratitude invites us to recognize and acknowledge the small things that touch our lives in a special way. I've noticed that my epiphanies occur in my mess. That's when they happen. So a few years before retiring from my high school in the Chicago suburbs, not only was I teaching full-time and caring for my mom, I was confronted with my own serious health issues. Further, I wasn't sure how I was going to manage all of my responsibilities and practice a new lifestyle after learning I had a long list of food allergies that were contributing to my health concerns. But, it wasn't until I embraced that season for what it offered in my own personal transformation and my own personal development that I began to witness more blessings in my life. It's kind of odd how that works. I'm so grateful for how that struggle sent me on a naturopathic journey to wellness, reversing my health problems, and coming out on the other side with a compact toolkit to support other women transitioning through challenging seasons. So I'll get you to answer a few of these questions. How often do you practice Thanksgiving? Is it only when things are going well? And how will you include more expressions of gratitude in your daily life? I know we really get very excited about that special day in November, right? But what happens the rest of the year? Yeah. Any responses, Miss Tanya?
Yes.
Oh, good.
We have Dora says she will try to journal a daily gratitude. Sarah says by pausing to appreciate things around you. And then I wrote, not often enough. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. Yeah. I like to begin and end my day with gratitude. It sounds like some of you like to do that too. But remember that gratitude is not an occasional thank you when things are going well, but a lifelong commitment, being genuinely thoughtful about the blessings in our life. Yes, and Sally adds on, we give special thanks at our meals. Yes. And then we remember 3 goods of the day every night. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yes. That's a good one. Yes. Okay. We're on to number 3. All right. This is a really sore topic with me. I tell you, this one. Oh, I could talk an hour about this particular one. Let go of perfectionism and the need to always be in control. That goes with perfectionism.
That's me. This is a tough one for me, and I admit it. I'm a recovering control enthusiast. Any control queens in the house? I think I know you. How many of you have to have everything figured out in advance your way? And if things don't go your way, you start shooting all over yourself? I get you. But I had to step out of my own way and surrender to divine spirit. Once I let go, and this is actually a constant thing, that once I let go and get into the flow, I receive solutions I need to maneuver through difficult situations. It doesn't happen immediately, but letting go of that, it just sort of opens me up to solutions. So look, I just want to let you know that you don't have to pretend to be strong all the time. I know sometimes as women, we sort of put on that side, but we don't have to try to pretend to be strong all the time. You don't have to have all the answers. Sometimes we have to ask for help. We can't tackle every situation in our own strength. We never get where we're going without the support of others. Hidden between the letters of perfectionism is worrying about what others may think, and that can only hold us back. So releasing that concern may make you feel vulnerable, but that's okay. There's something about vulnerability that's authentic and provocative. And my friend tells me that vulnerability is sexy. Okay, so vulnerability, authenticity, that sort of comes with it, being provocative, to open yourself up to, asking for assistance and not trying to be perfect all the time. So releasing the need to be perfect requires patience and being honest with yourself. And most importantly, it's an expression of self-compassion. Questions about that particular shift. Are you allowing opportunities to pass you by because you're always trying to get ready? That's that perfectionist mind. Rather than striving for perfectionism, what I've learned is, how can you strive to be your best at any given time? Not to be perfect, but to be your best. Comments on that? It's kind of interesting about this, because whenever you do your best, well, you can always say, wait, I did my best. But 2 weeks from now, you may have other ideas about how you would handle that. That's because you're growing and you're a different person. Like I said, every day you're different. So any comments on that one?
Linda says, I try to find the best solution for today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll add that I think acknowledging those little victories is important. Oh, yeah. Especially like for me, I'm a student and I have so many years to go still for my degree, but every paper that gets done is a little bit of a step closer. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's so true. We have to celebrate our accomplishments, big and small, and that helps to keep us in the right mindset, so that we don't get stressed out over trying to overcome obstacles that are insurmountable without taking small steps in order to get to where we're going.
Dora says, I am learning to limit seeking others' approval to help me support myself better.
Yes.
And then we also have not perfect, but be present.
Yes, that's awesome. Great comments from this group. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, so I'd like to invite you to, take a few minutes this week to reflect on how much time you're spending on competing with perfectionism. And remember, these are all suggested lifestyle shifts. Lifestyle change requires practice and more practice until it becomes automatic, a way of life. Okay. shift that I'm recommending is to think beyond self and family. And by this, I mean to focus on being socially conscious. Show of how many of you are involved in community service? I see a few hands. Of course, I can't see everyone, but yes. And here's where I advocate be selfish in selflessness. In my Sprout Your New Life program, I help women align their values and service activities with their purpose for a more authentic way to live. And, how will getting involved help to transform your life? See, I believe that the main reason why we're here is to love. And at this particular season in your life, it may be so rewarding to discover what that looks like for you. But to align every aspect of your life, your service, your passions, your purpose, your even your nutrition plan. There's so many things to align to make you feel that you are in sync. So, in what ways do you give back? And how is what you're doing serving your family, community, and the world? And that's what I mean by thinking above family. Family is very important, but thinking outside of the home. We had a lot of hands go up there too, for as many as I could see here, people that are involved in service activities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wonder if we've got any ideas here to share.
I think people are typing as we.
Yes. Give them time to reflect on this for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I will add on that Diane says here, I learned to listen. This is about before. I learned to listen more every day through my years in management in the public school system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Eden says, simply showing up and offering my gifts and talents in the current moment helped me get past my perfectionism.
Yes. Yes.
And back to Diane, she mentions, I recently volunteered to serve on the homeless task force.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Bless you. That's awesome. Yeah.
Nicole says she does a beach cleanup once a month.
Yeah.
That's great.
Servicing the environment. Yeah. And service does not necessarily. Oh, excuse me. Yes, Ms. Tanya.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say
that. I know. You cut each other off.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, I'll go. I was going to say that I do recognize quite a few of our names here. They are volunteer leaders within our alumni association.
Oh.
They've worked with students and they've mentored other alumni. So they do lots of good work, and they're not going to brag about it.
Yeah, because it's their lifestyle. It's every day for sure. And I was going to say is that you don't necessarily have to be involved in any specific community activity. It's just how you present yourself when you go out in public as well. Because I know that when I go out, I just prep myself that I just want to be of service to whoever I come in contact with. Like I call myself a serotonin dispensary. So that when I go to the grocery store or wherever, it's like, oh, beautiful blouse, or hello, people. Oh, here comes that friendly lady from out there in Burr Ridge. But yeah, just that you're serving your community by doing that, because you never know who you're going to touch. I mean, just even a smile or a wave. I mean, that really does help to lift people's spirits on a global level if you do that all the time. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Now, if you were to take every idea, every goal, and ask how it will help others, your vision may open up to a whole new world of possibilities. And it sounds like most of you are on that track. That's awesome. Yes. And this is so very important. Yeah. Honoring your strengths and talents. This is a really juicy one, so I want to spend a little bit more time on this. Now, what I mean by this is honor your strengths and talents, but not your job or current position. One more time, honor who you are, your strengths and talent, but not that job or that position. Okay, so I suggest that you periodically check in with yourself, personally and professionally. Every season presents opportunities to develop and refine what comes naturally and to discover what you're made of. It takes courage to speak and honor your truth. Are you courageous? Write an example that demonstrates your courage. Every time I have decided to do a new thing, like writing a book, accepting an administrative role in the schools, launching my women's empowerment program, or producing my wellness play for inner city youth, I've encountered resistance and discomfort. And at times I entertained thoughts of giving up. I didn't get it then. But now I understand that those feelings of discomfort were natural because I was doing a new thing, stepping outside my comfort zone. So have you ever resisted a season of expansion? You know, you feel it, you know it's right, but you resisted it. You know, that monkey mind starts working on you. When you look back on previous experiences, were there times when you were not open to being stretched to higher levels? So I encourage you to raise your level of expectation. You know the saying, what you think about, you bring about. Think about how to best use your gifts. And think also about where you are right now on your journey. What do you think is your mission in life? I have met women of all ages who are not sure what their talents are. And I just love to help them discover that they not only have one, but often several that they had not even considered. Something critical for you to think about. What do you think is your purpose in life? I know we're going through these rather quickly, and you can reflect on these this evening, next week. It's just to spur on some discussion as well as thought-provoking questions to help you move forward in your transformation. So what do you think is your purpose in life? What are your strengths and talents? I know some of you probably have a very long list that you're going to need 25,000 pages to write. Exactly, right? In what ways can you best use your gifts? That's what transformation and repurposing your life is all about. How to use your gifts in the best way. So I'll stop here for a second and give you time to reflect on that. This is bragging time for sure. Bragging time, yeah. Your strengths and talents.
That's a hard one, TK.
It is hard. And it's really kind of the whole, I think this is really the main point here, is to identify that and to bring that forward in our second half. And this is something that I love to work on with my clients. But yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Well, we have a couple of responses.
Okay.
Diane says, I love learning and teaching and have thoroughly enjoyed being an educator.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Harris says, making connections and cheering people on.
Mm-hmm.
And Dora says, this is an area in which I find it difficult to know my strengths, talents, and gifts.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes time. I shared a little piece of my story earlier about trying to blend my love of teaching with my newfound love of health and wellness, even though it was newfound. I mean, I've been doing that all my life, but I didn't really consider it a strength. So I blended those together and came up with what I'm supposed to be doing for my second half. So certainly worth reflecting, I believe. All right. this might be a really good time to revisit your definition of success and transformation. And remember this, that there's, I like to say, is this more to thee. There's so much more to thee, and believe that your best is yet to be. This is just the coolest slide. I just fell in love with this one. Take risk. How many risk takers we have? Yay, taking risk is so important, because that really helps you to figure out what you're made of, for sure. Don't get too comfortable. That's the whole idea. Don't get too comfortable. Everyone is on a unique path to discover her greatness. T.S. Eliot said, only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far it is possible to go. When I launched my wellness business 2015 at the age of 62, I had no idea what I was doing or what my future would look like. Certainly had no business experience. I just knew that I wanted to start a movement to change the world's view on aging so it's positive, not negative. And I wanted other women to know that they could create the life they've always desired. A singer and actress, Ethel Waters, I mean, you remember her? Yeah, she said, life is not intended to be safe. A safe life is too small a name for a creature of eternity. Life, at its noblest and highest, has a hazard. So for you, what do you get pumped about? Have you allowed yourself to do something extraordinary and profound, something that you care deeply about? I imagine that for some of you, the pandemic, because you've had a lot of time to reflect and more personal and private time, that perhaps you've thought a little bit about this, what you could do. What do you get pumped about? What excites you?
TK, so just before we move to the slide, Joan left a comment that I think fits right here.
Oh, please. Yes.
She says, my purpose in life is to be a great parent. And as a lifelong learner, I also am a gifted writer, and I'm writing a novel.
Oh, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. She's writing a novel. Wow. Did you start the novel during the pandemic, or did you start it before?
We'll give Joan a minute to reply.
Yeah, give her a minute. Yeah.
We also have someone who says, unexpected and secondary benefits. I love the outdoors and hiking. I also love animals. And Joan says, I started it before the pandemic.
Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. Time to work on that. Real good. Okay. Well, I just say, please be aware that at any given moment, you have the power to influence your future with your thoughts. It's all about choices, being open to welcoming endless possibilities of transformation. Yeah. And it's not to say that what you decide you want to do today may not actually be of interest to you a couple of years from now. But at least you've had that experience, and every experience helps you to build on, what you would like to do or support what you're going to be doing in the future. So I just say, for sure, take those risks. And as we move forward here, all right. I don't think this is an issue for our group, but I think it's worth mentioning. Perhaps many of you are already committed to this. I realize that, as graduates of colleges and so forth. But however, I suggest taking classes that enrich your life, continue to cultivate your curiosity, enroll in weekend seminars, present at a conference, earn an advanced certificate, pursue a hobby, and focus on what you think your purpose may be. And then that way, everything is sort of tied together. And this is where you get inspired to meet like-minded people who may be up to something really special. And there's also an opportunity to collaborate with and support each other. Not long after I always say I graduated, retirement is such a word that I don't know, but I would say I graduated. When I graduated from teaching, when I graduated from my public school teaching position, I took a children's book writing course with a renowned author at the Newberry Library in Chicago. Small group, there were only 7 of us, and everyone seemed to be connected in a very special way. Even the instructor commented that she had never seen a group with such electrifying energy. And mainly electrifying synergy as well. It's really a synergy more so than just the energy that we were carrying. But we've kept in touch over the years, and one woman has become a close confidant, and another is a member of my business team. Yeah. So while in that 8-week summer intensive, I wrote the script for a wellness play to inspire youth to follow a healthy lifestyle. And it's interesting, though, that really, I don't know, that was way before, though, that I realized what I was supposed to be doing in my second half. But just that one experience sort of built on everything else. At the time, I had no idea what I would gain from the experience, but now I realize that particular class was placed on my path for a distinct reason, and I'm so fortunate to have participated in it. So without these experiences, I don't know, it sort of limits us. And that's probably a good way to put that. So your reflections here, besides learning a new skill, what are other benefits to lifelong learning? Are you ready to enroll in classes that support your purpose and mission? And how can being mindful about course selection pave the way for more intentional life? So I'll pause for a moment here. Well, there's 3 big questions. Just reflect on those. If you don't share with us, I think that's okay. Just be thinking about these even after we say goodbye for this evening. But being more mindful of your life and what you want, even in the selection of your classes.
And TK, Diane as SC offers so many opportunities for alumni to learn. I particularly enjoy the Center for the Political Future, which supports civil political discussions.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Just again, a reminder that transformation comes in stages, and it's a daily conscious decision to be consistent and to keep your word about making positive shifts in your life. Number 8. Sometimes we forget to do this. So take time to laugh and play is critical to our overall well-being. Studies show that laughter reduces stress, supports your immune system, and triggers the release of endorphins, the feel-good hormones. To me, that's reason enough to get your laugh on. Now, I love laughter because guess what? It massages your internal organs. Have you ever thought about that? I mean, when you laugh, you feel your tummy. I mean, it's really getting a good workout. Yeah, your heart muscles everything is working out here. So if you need to get started, let's exercise our facial muscles by making silly faces. I know this might make me look really silly, but we do this, exercise your facial muscles. Of course, you're getting, some exercise here in your neck and your face, but I want you to try this when you're driving down the street and see how many stares you get. It's bound to make you giggle. I do that periodically. I was like, whoa, what is going on here? I always encourage women to invite their inner girl out to play. Need some tips? Well, you watch comedies, your favorite riddles online, and share them with a friend, and that'll get you giggling. Dance to groovy music, go for a swing at the park. And by the way, I still swing at the park. The last time I went for a swing, so usually I'm by myself, but last time I went for a swing, I attracted a lot of attention from the kids playing there. They were like, oh, that's interesting. I can see them thinking, very interesting. That adult on the swing, that's pretty cool. So yes, play and laughter are so important. And let's reflect on what your thoughts are here. What play activities are you thinking about incorporating to your daily schedule? I know you probably have to think about that a little while. It's not something that you can come up with, spur of the moment. And how will keeping a joyful heart open you up to seasons of expansion? Keeping a joyful heart. Yes.
TK, Joan wrote this for the last reflection, but it certainly applies here as well. She writes, you don't have to enroll in classes. There are some great free classes via podcast and the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Lifelong learning opens your mind up to other ideas and broadens one's perspective. I also believe it keeps us young and extends our lives by energizing our minds and all the cells in our body.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. Energizes our mind. Yeah, keeps our mind active. Yes. Those brain cells for sure. When it's safe to gather again, I'm thinking about hosting a Mad Lib party. Are you familiar with Mad Libs? Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. But we're participating now through Zoom, and there's the magic in technology. We can plan an event and gather with our friends on Zoom and create whatever you want, and make it fun and exciting. I recently read that success can be measured in smiles. Do you agree? Success can be measured in smiles. Yeah.
I have here, Joan says, I play with my dogs, play ball, we learn tricks. They inspire me to be young. I also meet lots of people through my dogs. They are a social connection.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
And then Dora adds, would like to start playing card games with friends again. That's what she's looking forward to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like me and my Mad Libs for sure. Got something to look forward to there. Now, this quote by Michelle Obama supports what we've been discussing this evening, and I hope it provides more inspiration for you. She says, for me, becoming isn't arriving somewhere or achieving a certain aim. I see it instead as forward motion, a means of evolving, a way to reach continuously towards a better self. The journey doesn't end. And with that, I'd like to tie everything up. Meditation, just going back through our points here, meditation, gratitude, releasing perfectionism, being socially conscious, honoring your talents, taking risks, lifelong learning, and humor can support self-awareness and open you up to endless possibilities. See, reinvention is a lifelong process. It's not about becoming something or someone else. It's about expansion, being open to becoming more of who you were meant to be. And perhaps your endless possibilities will emerge from three things. Perhaps it will be a need or a struggle. It could be your gifts and talents, or it could be something that you do naturally that you never even considered. For example, I had no idea that my creative experiments in the kitchen from years ago would lead to delectable allergy-friendly recipes that I share on my website. Yeah. South African writer Malebo Safodi said, reinvent yourself over and over and over and over and over until you find home. There is no timeline for the soul. So are you waiting for the knock on the door? Will you be prepared when you answer? Or will you think it's just a solicitor and ignore it? Establish a mindset of positive expectancy. This is how you release your superpowers. When you're expecting favor and when you have immersed yourself in activities that support your wishes, you will be ready. So expect to be amazed. Love yourself. Each day you are becoming. You can't be tomorrow without appreciating who you are today. Yes. Oh, and I just want to say thank you very much, Ms. Tanya, for inviting me. And thank you, friends, for joining us here. I appreciate your attention. At the beginning of the talk, I stated that my mission is to help women discover their purpose in retirement so they can flourish in their second half. If my talk resonated with you and you are ready to plant the seeds for your future, please visit my website, lifestyle120.com, to learn more about my offerings. Again, it's been a pleasure spending time with you this evening and wishing you joy, peace, prosperity, and fulfillment. Thank you.
Thank you, TK.
Thank
That was
you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
We have a whole lot of thank yous in the chat and
That's
lovely
good. Thank
comments.
you. I enjoyed it.
Are you open to answering a question or two?
I am. I'm open to staying on longer for those who would like to, for sure.
Yeah, I think we can extend this a few more minutes.
Yes, and we are, let's see, I can shut this down so I can see everybody maybe?
Yeah.
Or no,
Yeah.
you already,
No,
yeah.
I turned it off, so just go to
Oh, good.
you want to do gallery view.
Gallery view for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
did anyone have a question? If you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself and you can make a comment. And TK, you can look in the chat over here. There's some really nice.
Oh yeah, that's
comments.
right. I forget to do that when I'm presenting. It's like, it's a good thing. Okay. Thank you, thank you. Welcome, you're welcome, Miss Gray. Thank you.
So for everyone who's still here, I will go ahead and we are recording. We will have this talk uploaded to our Alumni Association YouTube within the next week or two. So please keep an eye out for that. And please continue to stay involved in all of our great programming for Encore Trojans and for the Trojan Women's Network. You can always reach out to me at any time if you have any questions. Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all. Fight on.
All right. Bye-bye.
Fight on.